Imagine a world where the grid didn't just fail, it brought with it a biological nightmare that thrives in the silence of a dead society. You are part of a hardened community that has survived the initial EMP blast, only to find that the darkness is now teeming with a plague that turns neighbor against neighbor, and sanity is a luxury you can no longer afford. But when you discover that the plague isn't just a disease, but a weaponized agent designed to cull the weak, you realize that survival isn't just about stocking supplies. It's about maintaining your humanity in a world that wants you to become a monster. Welcome to Plagued World, the 8th gritty, relentless, and deeply suspenseful installment in Grace Hamilton's EMP Aftermath series. If you love biological thriller tropes, realistic prepper logistics, and stories that explore the sheer, unadulterated terror of facing an enemy that lives in the air you breathe through grit, ingenuity, and superior tactics, this audiobook will completely consume you. It is a masterclass in post-apocalyptic thriller fiction, blending the visceral crunch of tactical combat with the profound weight of moral decay. The narrative kicks off with our protagonist facing the immediate threat of a new strain of the virus, thrusting them into a race against time to secure their perimeter before the infection breaches their sanctuary. The atmosphere is thick with the smell of antiseptic and rot, the static of dying radios, and the creeping dread of knowing that every cough could be a death sentence for the whole group. Hamilton excels at capturing the psychological toll of long-term survival, making every scavenging run, every medical crisis, and every tense negotiation feel like a high-stakes gamble where the price of failure is not just death, but the loss of everything that makes life worth living. At the core of the book's massive appeal is its spectacular reluctant leader trope and the brilliant asymmetric warfare dynamic. This isn't just about shooting raiders, it's about understanding the psychology of desperation, managing dwindling resources, and using human ingenuity to outsmart enemies who have superior numbers and zero regard for collateral damage. Watching the protagonist reverse engineer enemy tactics, forge uneasy truces with other survivor groups, and completely shock arrogant commanders with their stubborn refusal to break is incredibly satisfying. The audiobook narration brings the visceral impact of the combat to life, making the crack of rifle fire, the shudder of impact, and the frantic whispers in the dark feel incredibly real and deeply immersive. But beyond the spectacular action and the survival mechanics, the soul of EMP Aftermath lies in its characters and the heavy burden of leadership. The protagonist isn't an invincible hero. They are a deeply human individual struggling with the moral weight of making impossible choices to protect those they care about. The emotional anchor of the story is their fierce, complicated bond with the small group of survivors they reluctantly allow into their orbit, a found family bound by shared trauma and the knowledge that they are the last line of defense against total darkness. The audiobook elevates these intimate moments, making the quiet conversations by a flickering candle feel just as impactful as the explosive, chaotic firefights on the perimeter. As the plot accelerates towards its climax, the pacing becomes utterly breathless. A major raider gang targets the community sanctuary, forcing them into a desperate, high-stakes last stand. The finale is a breathtaking display of tactical brilliance, overwhelming improvisation, and raw, unbridled courage. The protagonist must use every hidden trick, every overloaded trap, and every ounce of their will to hold the line against an unstoppable tide. The payoff is spectacular, delivering a massive, hard-earned victory that proves humanity's greatest weapon isn't its firepower, it's its refusal to surrender its soul. Plagued World is a triumph of the post-apocalyptic thriller genre. It is smart, gritty, and unapologetically intense. Grace Hamilton has created a sequel that perfectly captures the thrill of the ultimate underdog holding the line. Plug in your headphones, check your perimeter, and join the fight. The world is broken, but their defiance is eternal.